Akanksha, have you joined?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Basir, how are you?
I'm fine, sir. How are you, sir? Good
Yeah,
afternoon, sir.
me also good. Good afternoon. So where are you now? In Bhubaneswar or in your country?
No. I'm on my way coming back, sir.
Okay, fine. So
Yes, sir.
many of the students are joining from your university. So many students
Yes,
and
yes.
faculty has joined. So let us
Yes,
see.
sir.
We'll discuss more about that one. Fine, because we have a
Okay, okay.
good resource persons are there. Definitely
Yes,
after
yes.
this one we'll discuss a little. And
All right, sir.
you just come to me. Fine. After you'll come back to Bhubaneswar.
Okay.
That we
Okay,
can.
sir. I will do that. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Đó, quá travailler sur le
Okay, I will be sharing my screen.
Yes, sir. Your screen is visible.
Okay. Okay, is my presentation visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, good morning, students. Okay, so I'm Dr. Ghanshyam Bopche from NIT Tiruchirappalli. And today in this session, we are going to talk about ransomware attacks and potential cyber defenses. Okay. So I hope my screen is visible. If not, just pause me and just let me know. Okay. So this is the outline of today's session. Okay, so first we'll start with the threat landscape. Okay, we'll talk about the assets. Okay, vulnerabilities, threats, and the potential adversaries. We'll talk about the ransomware and the families, well-known families, potential ransomware victims and the consequences, the modus operandi of ransomware attack and the different extortion methods. Then we'll talk about cyber criminal business model, which is proliferating like a lot nowadays, which is a ransomware as a service. Then we'll talk about the role of Bitcoin in a RAS model. Okay, so how the Bitcoin being used, okay, in order to get or demand ransom payments from the victims, and some existing solutions we'll study. Okay, this is the outline. So let us begin with the threat landscape. Okay, so here you can see different ovals. Okay, so the innermost ovals, which are yellow in color, marked as yellow in color, these are our assets. So we wanted to have the privacy nowadays. We wanted to have the anonymity. We wanted to maintain or preserve our identity. We wanted to secure our files, our account details, our financial details, our emails, our location details. So all these things which are marked in yellow, these are sort of assets, okay? And we wanted to protect them. So to protect these assets, we are having different types of solutions. Okay, we are having to have anonymity. People are using the onion router, virtual private network. We are using the encryption techniques. Okay, we are using the two-factor authentication. We are having SSH, HTTPS. So to protect these assets, we are having different security solutions. Now, question is why we are protecting these assets. Actually, who is endangering them? Okay, who is a threat to them? So when you talk about the threats here, we are having different sorts of threats in terms of malware, in terms of viruses, okay, in terms of adware, spyware, in terms of mass surveillance, in terms of backdoor. And these threats, who actually poses threats to these assets? So there are different adversaries are there, or threat actors are there. You can see in the last oval. Okay, so adversary or attacker can be an individual hacker, or can be the cyber criminal group, or can be your colleague, can be the law enforcement agencies, can be government, okay, can be anyone. Okay, so the idea is that this is the overall threat landscape. We are having different assets to protect. For that, we are having different solutions. Okay, and as these assets, when we are talking about these digital assets, we are using the software and hardware, okay, in order to maintain these digital assets. And there may be a flaws or vulnerabilities in these assets. These vulnerabilities or flaws or bugs can be exploited by the threat actors in order to gain access to these assets. Okay, so this is what the threat landscape is. So today I'm going to talk about one of the threat, which is a malware. Okay, and in the malware category, I'm going to talk about the ransomware, which is a very special nowadays. Okay, so basically, when we talk about a malware, so we know about the software. Software basically developed to offer certain functionalities to the user. Okay, so for example, any example you can take: VLC media player, document editor, your browser. It offers certain functionalities to you. Okay, which are for good purpose. Whereas malware is a software which is designed for malicious purpose. The intent is malicious. Maybe what kind of intent? It may be the stealing of your data, deletion of your data, something, some sort of malicious intent is there behind that. Okay. So let us talk about this. So when we talk about malware, so ransomware is very special because if you read the news every day, if you read the news every day, you can see that there may be one or two incidences of reported ransomware attack. Okay, so it is the most notorious type of attack, and you can call it is a sort of cyber crime. Okay, because behind these attacks there are cyber criminals. Okay, so the consequence of ransomware is what? What could be the consequence? Consequence is what they do basically. What the attackers do, they will infect your system or enterprise computers with the ransomware. And these ransomware, what it does, it encrypts your files. Okay, it makes them inaccessible. And in demand, they ask the cryptocurrencies or bitcoins. If you fulfill the ransom payment, they will release the decryption key for that data, and you can access your data. So means it's just like sort of hijack situation. So earlier people used to hijack or kidnap the people, your dear near and dear people, your loved ones. They used to kidnap, and they used to ask the ransom demand. But as nowadays our data is very important, because without data the companies cannot do the businesses. You cannot run the economy. So data is very important. So how the threat actor, what the threat actors are doing, they are encrypting your data in an unauthorized way, and in demand they are asking the ransom payment. If you pay the ransom in terms of bitcoin, they may release the decryption key or may not release the decryption key. Okay, this is what about the ransomware in brief. Now when we talk about ransomware types, there are three categories. One is called as cryptographic ransomware. What it does basically, it encrypts your data. Okay, it encrypts your valuable file, and then for decryption keys, okay, so when you demand the decryption keys, they will ask you for the ransom payment. If you fulfill the ransom payment in terms of Bitcoin, they will release the decryption keys. Second one is called as a wiper. So what they do, they will infect your computers and they will delete all your important data. Before deletion, they may take one copy of data with them. They may exploit the data. And then they will say that if you want your data, kindly pay us the ransom. Otherwise, your data is gone. Okay? Otherwise, we will release your data in the public forums. The third category is called as locker. It locks your computer or it locks your gadget. The gadget can be a mobile phone, can be your tablet, can be your computer, can be your server. So it locks your computer. Okay. So how does it lock? It may lock your screen. It may lock the account. It may lock the screen or browser, or it may lock the master boot record, so that you cannot access your computer. As you cannot access your computer, you cannot access your data. One more way, the locker ransomware can lock the peripheral devices of your computer also. So in short, if you look at the ransomware categories, these are the three categories. One is a cryptographic ransomware, which encrypts the data. Second one is a wiper, which deletes the data. Okay, first it takes the backup of data, then it deletes, and third one is called locker. It doesn't do anything with the data. It simply makes your system inaccessible to you so that you cannot have access to your data. Okay. So this is the category of ransomware. Okay. Now question is, this ransomware is not new basically. It was there actually. So as I said earlier, people used to kidnap these criminals used to kidnap the people, and in demand for their release, they will ask for some ransom. That ransom demand. That demand can be anything. So suppose somebody hijacked a plane, and then in demand, okay, in release of those passengers, they may ask to release the terrorist, something like that. Some demand they can make it. The demand can be a money, or demand can be any other thing. So it was already there, okay, so since the beginning of humanity. But as nowadays, lot of digitization happened, we are using our data is in the form of as our data is digitized, and which is of very high importance. So nowadays, the attackers or threat actors, they are what they are doing, they are making your data inaccessible to you. So it's all began with this, basically this ransomware is started in the year 1989 with the AIDS Trojan. Okay, so it was the first strain of ransomware which got detected. Then the most famous one is WannaCry and the Corona ransomware. Okay, so WannaCry was very dangerous, and the impact of this ransomware was almost irreversible. If you won't pay the ransom, you cannot have access to your files. You cannot access your files, even though you pay the ransom. There is a possibility, or there may be a possibility of getting the decryption keys, or there may not be a possibility. Okay, so just to make you understand, I have just created a small demo for you. Okay, my student have created a small demo so that I will make you understand what is this ransomware is. Okay, I hope my screens are visible. Okay, so what we did, I am taking two virtual machines. Okay, so I hope my virtual machines are visible to you. Kindly confirm
Yes, sir.
someone.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I have taken two virtual machines. Okay. These are the virtual machines. One is a Windows and one is a Ubuntu. Okay. So what I did, what I assumed that somehow in Windows machine this ransomware is landed. Okay. So this ransomware can come to your machine by different means. Anyway, I'm going to talk about that. So just to create the curiosity about the ransomware, I'm just giving this small demo. Okay. So that I can explain you rest of the stuff in a proper way. So assume that Windows is a victim machine, and by some means, the ransomware is landed to your computer. So how it can come? It can come as a phishing mail attachment. It can come as a drive-by download, or it can come as a through USB drive. So I assume that so the ransomware file came inside your computer, and this ransomware file is some sort of Python file we created. It's a proof of concept crypto locker. So this Python file, when you look at this Python file, out of this Python file, you can create an executable file, and that executable file you can put inside another file, which is a kind of PDF file or JPG file or PNG file or any sort of file or MS Word file. And that file will be attached, sent as an email attachment to the victim. Victim will download that file, and once victim opens that particular file, in background, the ransomware will be executed. Okay, in background, the ransomware will be executed. So I assume, so I'm not, I'm just telling that it will be done in that way. So I'm just taking a simple Python file as a ransomware file. So this is a victim machine, and I assume that this ransomware file got landed to the victim computer by some means. Okay, this is, now I'm having another virtual machine, which is a command and control server. So what is the role of command and control server basically? So just see. So once the ransomware infects a victim machine, it contacts to the command and control server for the encryption key, because the purpose of ransomware is to encrypt the data. So the ransomware doesn't come up with the encryption key. So once the machine will be infected, first machine will be infected, the ransomware contacts to the command and control server, which is maintained by the attacker. So from the command and control server, the ransomware will download the encryption key. Okay, it may exfiltrate or store some data. It may steal the data and upload to the command and control server. That is also can be done. And the third thing, once the encryption is done and once the payment is verified, ransom payment is verified, from the command and control server, the decryption key will be delivered to the victim machine. Okay, so that is what. So I assume this Windows is a victim machine and this Ubuntu is a command and control server. Okay, so I just need to run some scripts. Okay, so what I will do, I will just make up first, I will start my command and control server. Okay, so I will just copy these commands because it's a bit difficult to remember all these commands. These are created by my students. Okay, so I will just open the terminal. Okay, and what I will do, I will just copy this command. Okay, so there is a lamp server, I'm going to start it. Okay, so there is no sudo command, so I will just try it another way. So I will just enter some password, then I will try this command. Okay, so I'm starting my LAMP server. Wow. Wait. Some problem is there. Okay, started. If you see, okay. So now what I will do, I will just access this command and control server, because being an attacker, I just want to monitor, because attacker is sitting on the command and control server and he is watching how many machines are infected. So I will be opening this command and control server here. Okay, I'm accessing. So I need to just launch a browser. Sorry, system is running. Yes. Okay. So I will just access my command and control server. Okay, and there are already some users are created. Okay, so these are the users. Okay, these are the users means this command and control server is accessed by the attacker. So I'm just entering the password. Just log in. Okay, so you can see the command and control server. Okay, so I hope it's visible. So just see what is happening here in command and control server. So I'm watching this portal. Okay, being an attacker, I'm watching this portal. It shows me that how many machines got infected yet. Okay, so till now, how many machines using the ransomware what we created, how many machines are got infected. Okay, so these are the old machines which got infected. Okay, it shows that. Okay, it shows the machine ID, what is the machine, which machine is infected, what is the encryption key for that machine. Okay, on which date that machine is got infected, whether the ransom status is paid or non-paid, and whether to stop the deletion files or not. Few options are there. Okay, so this is my command and control server. Okay, so attacker is watching this. Okay, now, so everything is set up. Now I will go to the Windows machine. Okay, now what I will do, I will run this ransomware. Okay, so what is the target? So I'm having one Python file. I will just try to open this. So I will open with this idle. Okay, so you can see this code. Okay, so this is the some some 100 plus lines of code is there, which is acting as a crypto ransomware. Okay, now, so the objective of this particular ransomware is to encrypt the files stored within a D drive. So if you look at this computer, I'm having C drive, D drive, and E drive. Now my objective is that, so the ransomware is designed in such a way that it will encrypt all the files stored in a E drive. So just see here, inside the E drive, I'm having 3 folders. Inside each folder, I'm having some image files. Okay, so because I want more data, so I have kept the image files. Now remaining folders, I'm having some image files. So the objective of this ransomware is to search for certain number of files. Okay, so files with certain extension and encrypt them in the E drive. Okay, so this is the ransomware code. Okay, so let us run this ransomware and see what it does. So if I will run this ransomware, okay, what it will do, it will encrypt all the files. Okay, it will first generate the encryption key using a symmetric key encryption. So by some means it will generate the encryption key. Then using symmetric key encryption algorithm, it will encrypt all the data, and that encryption key will be sent to the command and control server. And okay, that encryption key will be sent to the command and control server. So once the payment will be verified, the attacker will release that key as a decryption key, and based on that key, the victim can recover all his data. So now if you see the data here, our data is accessible. I can open these images. Okay, escape. So these are the image files. Okay, now means I can access them. Now let us run this code. So I'm just running this code. If I will run this code,
So I also want you just.
there is a noise at your end.
Yes.
So when I'm running this code, just see here what is happening. It started encrypting all the files from the E drive. It is encrypting all the files. Once it will encrypt all the files, it will show the dashboard. It will show some sort of notification to the user. It is keep on encrypting all the files in a E drive, and post encryption, it will show the message. It will show, I hope this screen is visible. What it is saying that all your files are encrypted, and you are having time, this much time to pay the money. So I have kept the 1 minute time to pay the ransom. Okay, so this is what is happening here. Okay, so this is what, when I will look it, so this window will be shown to the victim. So victim has to pay the ransom. There will be some ransom note will be displayed to the user, and how to pay the ransom, all those instructions will be given. And here the timer is 1 minute is given. So in reality, the time will be 1 day or 2 day time or 1 week time will be given to fulfill the ransom demand. Now when you look at the other portal, I will just refresh it. So I can see that here the new machine, just see, it is showing me that the new machine is infected with the ransomware. Earlier this row was not there. This row was not there. Now what will happen? So as a command and control server, at command and control server, I can see all these things. Okay, so the new machine is infected with the ransomware. Now here at the victim, it is saying that you better you pay the ransom, otherwise every 10 seconds will start deleting your files. Okay, means to mount the pressure onto the victim, they are saying that better you pay the ransom, otherwise we'll start deleting your file. Okay, so here what I assume that, what I will assume, okay, what I assume that the user victim or victim paid the ransom. I will say the market is a paid, and I will say that stop the self destruct, means once the ransom is paid, ransom demand is fulfilled, I will, from the command and control server, I will send the command to the ransomware, stop deleting the file because ransom demand is fulfilled. So when we see this here, so once that is done, here what will happen, here it will say that, just see, earlier the deletion process is started, it is initiated, it is started deleting some data. But when I said that ransom demand is fulfilled by the victim, then what I did, I have issued the command from the command and control server using a self-destruct, and it is telling to the victim machine or the ransomware that the user has already fulfilled the ransom demand, so stop deleting the files. Now it stopped deleting the file. Now let us see the consequence. So when you look at this folder, particular folder, you see this folder, earlier in this drive, e drive, we were having files, right? You see, we were having files. Now earlier these files were accessible, these were these are all image files. Earlier we are able to see their icons, now we are not able to see. If you look at the properties of any of the file, you can see that, you see, this file is encrypted. What is the extension? Dot encrypted, some extension is there, means all these files are encrypted by the ransomware. So this is what basically happens when any ransomware attack happens onto a single computer or onto the enterprise network. So what happens basically, the overall flow is like this. Okay, by some means, by using some attack vector, the ransomware will infect the first machine. It will look for some important data based on file extension. It will collect that data. It will send that data to the command and control server. After that, it will ask for the encryption key from the command and control server. Encryption key will be delivered. Using that encryption key, ransomware will encrypt all the files. Post encrypting the files, the message will be displayed to the user or the victim. The message says that all your files are encrypted. If you want to recover your data, kindly pay the ransom, kindly follow the instruction, fulfill the ransom demand. Post fulfilling the ransom demand, we will give you the decryption key. Okay, and then attacker has to act. So onto the command and control server, about every victim data will be maintained. Once the victim fulfills the ransom demand, the attacker at the command and control server may release the encryption key or decryption key. See, these are the encryption or decryption key here. They may release, and using those decryption key, the victim will decrypt the data. Now, what if the victim is not willing to pay the ransom demand? Then what they will do to mount the pressure? They will every 1 hour they will start deleting your files. Okay, so as to just to mount a pressure onto the victim to fulfill the ransom demand, they will start deleting the files. Okay, so as the ransomware will start deleting the file, victim will be, come to the panic mode. He will get terrorized, and then they may pay the ransom. Once they will ransom demand will be fulfilled, then that ransom code will be verified, and the command and control server will give the instruction to the ransomware that ransom demand is fulfilled, please stop deleting the files. In that way it will work. Okay, so let us see here. Just see in this folder what happened basically in the victim machine. Here, when you look at this folder, all our files got encrypted. You see, all our files got encrypted. Now there are some more things are there. Okay, so just see, some more files are created. This is machine ID. So just see, machine ID is created because attacker has to identify every victim machine uniquely, because this ransomware, there is a chances of reinfecting the same machine again and again. So what attacker does, attacker creates a unique ID for every machine and maintains that unit ID inside a command and control server. Just see here. So that, okay, this machine already infected with the ransomware, and for that they got the ransom demand. So next time the ransomware will not infect that computer again. To stop the reinfection, machine ID is maintained. Okay, so like this, just there is a machine ID is there, and then there is a ransom note is there that, dear user, your files have been secured at like this, okay, using machine ID. Please keep this machine ID safe. If the victim deletes this machine ID, possibly the victim may not recover its data back. Okay, this machine ID is very important. So that's why whenever the ransomware attack happens, do not delete any files, do not touch any files. Okay, because by mistake you might be deleting the machine ID, and as you don't have machine ID, you cannot tell to the attacker what is your machine ID, and they will not give the decryption key for that machine ID. Okay, so like that, some files are created. Some more files are created in the ransomware folder I have created. So just see what I did, for just to demonstration purpose. I have maintained one copy of encryption key and decryption key here. So now what I will do to show you how the decryption works. So basically the encryption key should not be maintained locally onto the victim machine. But for demonstration purpose, I have maintained the encryption key locally also. So what I will do using this, so what will happen, basically it will be stored onto the command and control server. So once the ransom demand will be fulfilled, attacker will release this encryption, or I can say it's a symmetric encryption. So the same key will be used for encryption decryption. So this decryption key will be released to the victim, and then victim will use this decryption key. Okay, victim will use this decryption key to get back its data. So just see, I am entering the decryption key now. So here, once I will enter this decryption key, I am copying and pasting. So what it will do, it will start decrypting all the files. Just see, it is started decrypting all the files. So this is how it works. Now, and what it says, all files decrypted successfully. When you go back to this folder and check all the files again, now we are able to see all our files in a proper, okay, the way these files are initially. So now files got decrypted successfully. So this is a small demo I have created. This proof of concept ransomware created by my student for demonstration purpose. Okay. So I hope you got the complete clarity about the ransomware. Okay, so how it works. Okay, now we'll switch back to our presentation. Before that, if you have any question, let me know. Okay, so I hope after this, whatever I will explain, you will understand that very easily. Or shall we have questions at the end? Anyone?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, what is rats written there?
Here, right?
Yes, sir.
RATS. RATS stands for remote access trojan. Remote access trojan basically is a sort of malicious software which is very prominent in the mobile phones. So what happens normally nowadays, we keep on downloading apps, right? Okay, so sometimes the malicious app can be advertised as a genuine app. Suppose you are downloading the IRCTC app, but you can see the IRCTC app, there are different apps are there. Only there is one app from the IRCTC. Remaining apps are not from the IRCTC. So somebody will create the IRCTC app, a similar app, and some users may download that app. Basically, that app is a remote access trojan. So once you download that app onto your mobile phone, the attacker is able to take the remote control of your mobile phone. That is called remote access trojan. Got it?
Yes, sir.
That's what. Okay, so these are all sort of different types of malwares are there. Okay, so you can study them in a separately. Okay. So now we'll try to understand. Okay, so we have seen one demo of proof of concept ransomware. Now the things are pretty simple. So when you look at this ransomware evolution, it's not new. It's all started all the way, okay, in 1989 with the AIDS Trojan. Okay, so there was a conference on AIDS, okay, AIDS disease. One of the participant, what he delivered the floppy disk to the participants. Some thousands of floppy disk he delivered, And on the 9th, okay, so definitely the participants will, after going back, they plug in these floppy disks to their computer. On the 19th boot of the system started misbehaving and it started showing the ransom note. Okay, that is the first attack of ransomware, where the attacker is encrypting the data and asking for the ransom, okay, in terms of money. So but that was not a cryptocurrency, because that was a simple currency, okay, which is used in day to day basis. So they are able to trace the attacker, okay, one of the participant of the conference. Then in between there were no attacks, and it again started from the 2004 GP code, PG coder, 2009 there is a locker ransomware, 2010 winlock, 2012, okay, like that, and it is keep on going. Okay, so almost every day there is a ransomware attack happening on government agencies, okay, companies, maybe the at the individual level also. So these are some of them. So these ransomware attacks are keep on increasing. Okay, so nowadays these ransomware attacks are using the symmetric and asymmetric encryption algorithms, or we can call them as a hybrid encryption algorithms, okay, in order to mount more pressure onto the victim, and force them to fulfill the ransom demand. Okay, so what is the reason of evolutions for ransomware? Why, what are the different reasons why it is evolving like anything? So first of all, because of the growing popularity of internet and world wide web. So everyone, almost everyone with the smartphone is able to access the internet and world wide web, and whoever is connected to the internet is a potential victim of the ransomware. Okay, then second point is blind use of technology. 90% of the users are using the technology blindly without any consciousness. They are not using a proper cyber hygiene. There is a lack of cyber hygiene, that because of that the ransomware attacks are keep on increasing. Third one is called as a ransomware as a service model. So normally every company will have a business model. Okay, government will have some sort of business model, institutions have business model. Likewise, the cyber criminals are having a criminal business model, that is called as ransomware as a service. We are going to talk about that. Okay, because of this business model the ransomware attacks are keep on increasing, because almost anyone with, even without having any technical knowledge, can launch ransomware attack onto any company. Okay, you don't require to have the knowledge about this, how to develop the ransomware, how to launch it. You don't need to have the knowledge about this. Just try to use ransomware as a service and you can launch the attack. Okay, so don't do all these things. Okay, so this is very dangerous. So point is like this, because of the ransomware as a service business model, cyber criminal business model, ransomware attacks are keep on increasing day by day. Third one is, next one is a business rivalries. There is a cutting edge, there is a cutthroat business competition among the companies. Sometimes one company asks hackers to launch ransomware attacks onto another company. Okay, so to impact their businesses, something like this. Or one state, one nation can launch ransomware attacks onto the another nation. Okay, so intention can be anything. Okay, then next one is the cyber insurance. The way we do the health insurance, vehicle insurance, property insurance, there is a cyber insurance is happening, and there are some loopholes are there in the cyber insurance, and these ransomware attacks are keep on exploiting those loopholes. Okay, so these are some of the points, reasons for the evolution of ransomware. What are the key sectors affected by ransomware? So I can say that almost every sector, starting from healthcare, government agencies, even there were ransomware attacks on education sector, British Library. There were attack on British Library, because nowadays we are having a concept of digital libraries. So we can access any digital document at our ease onto our device. So what they did, attackers launched the ransomware attack on British Library. So nobody, no student, no faculty were able to access any of the digital resource. Financial services attacks are happening on energy and utilities, power grid attack. There are attacks on manufacturing and industrial, okay, sector, Hitachi cyber attack 2025. Likewise, there are almost every sector is affected with the ransomware. Almost every day, one or two companies are millions of people, or I can say thousands of people are falling victim to the ransomware attack. Next, what is the modus operandi of ransomware? How it operates? What is the life cycle of attack? As I said, the ransomware first infect first machine. Okay, it will first infect the very first machine inside your network. okay, by some means, by using any attack vector. So ransomware can come either as a phishing attachment, or maybe you are browsing a particular website on a daily basis. They may infect that website. Upon visiting that web page, something will be downloaded to your computer as a drive-by download that we will discuss in the tomorrow's session, and it will get executed. Or somebody will send you the USB drive, and if it auto run is, auto run option is enabled, something will infect your computer. So in that way, the ransomware can come to your computer. Once the ransomware infect the machine, it will start communication with the command and control server, because what it will do, it will ask for the encryption keys. It may exfiltrate the data to the command and control server, and it may ask for the decryption keys at the end of the attack. So command and control server is very important. Next, so it will communicate with the command and control server for the encryption keys. After that, it will encrypt all the files onto the victim computer. And then after that, what will happen? It will show the ransom note to the victim, and it will ask for the ransom demand. If the ransom demand is fulfilled, they may release the decryption key. If the ransom demand is not fulfilled, they may start delete your data. Or what they will do, they will release the stolen data to the public forums or the darknet. Okay, so they can do like that. So this is a simple life cycle of ransomware attack. Okay. Next, so the same thing I said earlier. So how the ransomware will come to your computer, either as a phishing email attachment, or through the drive-by download, or through the water hole attack. Means, maybe some websites are there, Facebook pages, LinkedIn pages. So these pages you might be visiting on a daily basis. So are the millions of people are visiting these websites on daily basis, or maybe the Git repositories. So these pages will be infected will be infected by the attacker. Whoever visits those web pages, the ransomware will be get downloaded to their computer without their knowledge, and it will be executed. Okay, so this is what happens. Okay, or it can come as a malicious application. So you might be thinking that you have downloaded the genuine application, but basically you have downloaded the ransomware. Okay, it is prominent in case of mobile phones. Or if it is a highly, if you are the highly sought target, there may be vulnerabilities in your software, public facing applications. The attacker may exploit those vulnerabilities, and they will release the ransomware inside your computer. Okay, so this is the way. Second one is called as command and control server, second phase. So what is the command and control server? Basically, it's a remote server maintained by the attacker. Why it maintains the remote server? To get to collect the machine IDs, to store the encryption keys and decryption keys, to store the stolen data. For that, command and control server is very important. Okay. So when we talk about the command and control server, attackers maintain this server, and they can maintain in these two ways. Command and control server will have the fixed IP address. It is not changing over the time. So if the ransomware is communicating from within the enterprise network, from the infected computer, if the ransomware communicates to the command and control server, it will be get detected, noticed by the security tools, firewall, intrusion detection system. In that case, the firewall and IDS or security software will block this communication. Now, means the command and control server is having hard-coded IP address. It will be get noticed by the security tools. In that case, to get rid from this problem, what attackers are doing, they are keep on changing the IP address or the domain of command and control server using the DGA algorithm, domain generation algorithm. It's a randomization based mathematical algorithm. What it does, they are keep on changing the domain of command and control server. Because of that, the security solutions will not track or will not keep track of command and control server. Okay, so this is what, so firewalls cannot detect it. So there are two ways of configuring the command and control server: hard-coded IP and the DGA. In our case, we use the hard-coded IP to set up the command and control server. Okay, now, so this is about the command and control server. Okay, the next one is encryption part, destruction phase. Once the encryption key got delivered to the victim machine, ransomware, what it will do, It will identify the sensitive data based on the file extension or based on the some keywords, and then it will start encrypting the data. To encrypt the data, the ransomware will use symmetric or asymmetric algorithm, okay, cryptographic algorithm, or they may use the hybrid algorithm. So I just don't want to go into the detail of this symmetric or asymmetric encryption key algorithms. Basically, these symmetric asymmetric encryption key algorithms are basically used by the victim computer. Okay, so these libraries are all there. So basically, ransomware is using the same algorithms to encrypt your data. Okay, only what they will do, they will keep the encryption or decryption key private. Okay, they will keep it onto the they won't keep this encryption decryption key onto the victim machine. They will put it onto the command and control server, and without that key, the victim cannot decrypt the data. Okay, so now the next one is, okay, so resource locking. Okay, so as I said, one is the encryption of data. In some of the computers or some of the mobile phones or in the industrial control system or cyber physical system, attackers may not delete the data. What they will do, they will lock the screen. They will make the computer inaccessible to the user, or they may lock the browser, or they may lock the master boot record MBR. Without MBR, you cannot access your OS or you cannot load your OS. In worst case, in the cyber physical system, this ransomware can lock your peripheral devices. You cannot access your keyboard, you cannot access the mouse. Whatever HMI, whatever interaction devices are there, you cannot access them. You cannot, they may lock your software, they may lock the user account. So many things they can do. So that happens in the locker ransomware. Okay. The last phase is the destruction behavior. Okay. What happens? So before deleting the data, they may take one copy of your data with them onto the command and control server, and they will start deleting the data or encrypting the data. Because in case if you won't pay the ransom demand, if you won't fulfill, what they will do to mount a pressure on you, what they will say, one more copy of data is with us. So if you won't pay us the ransom, we will release this data to the public forum, or we may sell it to your competitor, or we may release it in a darknet. And in that way, what will happen? The company image gets spoiled. Now, to save the image, what the company will do? They will try to fulfill the ransom demand. Okay, so this is what happens. Now, the next one is a payment. Now, in the extortion phase, what happens? If the victim is ready to pay the ransom, the attacker will collect the ransom using the anonymous payment method, and we can call it as a cryptocurrency. So, and the most preferable cryptocurrency for the ransom demand or ransom payment is a Bitcoin. Okay, because nobody can track the Bitcoin. Okay, so that's what. So it's very difficult to track the Bitcoin because it's a sort of distributed currency which works on the principle of blockchain. Okay, and finally what happens? If the victim pays the ransom demand, if victim fulfills the ransom demand, there is a very little chance that attacker will release the decryption key. Even though you fulfill the ransom or you won't fulfill the ransom, there is a very little chance that you will get the decryption keys and you will get you back your data. It's very difficult. So this is called as concluding phase. So basically, so this is a win-win situation for the attacker. And who is the loser? Victim. Even though you will pay the fulfill the ransom demand, there is no guarantee that you will get the decryption keys back. Okay. Now, okay, so just see what happens. So basically, I said that there are 5 phases in a ransomware attack, but basically there are some more. There are more phases are there when you look at. So there is initial access, there will be execution, there will be persistence, because attack ransomware has to be stealthy. There is a privilege escalation, there is a evasion, there is a discovery. There are so many stages are there in a ransomware attack. So basically, I said there are 5 phases, but when you deep dive, you can have the multiple phases in the ransomware attack. Okay, and not all ransomware will use all these ransomware these attack stages. Some ransomware families use all the attack stages, whereas some ransomwares may not use all the attack stages. They will use the very few. Okay, so I'm just not going into the detail of all these things. Now next comes the extortion method. So there are different levels of extortions are there. Okay, so to mount a pressure onto the victim to fulfill the ransom demand, the attacker plays a sort of, I can say, bloody game with the victim. So what they do in a single extortion, what they will do, they will encrypt your files first, and they will ask for the ransom demand. If you are having your data backup, if you are regularly taking the backup of your data, what you can do, you can restore your computer as a victim, you can restore your data from the backup. So if you are having the practice of maintaining the proper backup, okay, then you can fight with the ransomware attack and you can restore your machine. So that is called a single extortion. Means attacker is asking for ransom demand to get okay to release the decryption keys. But what you are doing based on the backup, you are recovering your system. Now, what attacker will do to mount a pressure on you? Before encrypting the files, they may steal your data. They will take one copy of data with them onto a command and control server, and they will say that, okay, you are able to recover your system from the backup, but one more copy of data is with us. If you won't give us the ransom, fulfill the ransom demand, we will release this data to the public forum and we will spoil your image. That is called double extortion. Okay, they are mounting the pressure. Even though the victim is not paying to the attacker, the victim is not fulfilling the ransom demand, what they will do, they will go one step ahead. What they will do, they will say that as this data belong to the customer, this is a sensitive data. Suppose SBI is the victim and SBI is having the customer data for millions of people. They will ask the customer, they will, what they will do, post stealing the data, post exploiting the data, they will contact the customers and they will say that your data is with us and we may misuse or we may release this data in a public forum. So kindly ask your bank to fulfill the ransom demand. So now they are mounting more pressure on the bank from the customer side to fulfill the ransom demand, like that. Even though the victim doesn't pay the ransom, what they will do, because the victim may be having the different business domains, they are working in different sectors, they may be offering different services, they will start the DDoS attack on their remaining services also. So something like that. So these are the different levels of extortion to mount the pressure onto the victim and to force him to fulfill the ransom demand. Okay. So the data backup will only work for single extortion, whereas for double, triple, and quadruple extortion, the data backup will not work because all the data is already in the hand of attacker and they can misuse it. Okay, so the same thing I have discussed different types of extortion methods. Okay, now, so if you see the money lost in ransomware attack, it is keep on increasing. Okay, so it is in millions or billions nowadays. Okay, so when you look at this statistic till 2018, it was something 14 billion losses in 2018, some 34 billion, and in 2024 alone 25 billion. And this data is from the FBI's internet crime report. Okay, so the net impact or consequence of ransomware is the losses in terms of money. Second one is the losses in terms of business disruption. Third, in terms of psychological impacts onto the victims or onto the companies, because the company's image got spoiled because as the ransomware attack happened, they are not able to offer their services to the customers, and it's a kind of loss of trust. So customers will not come to this company, they may look for the better service provider. So in that way a company may lose a business in the long run. So the impacts can be anyone. Okay,
Excuse me,
so
sir.
yes.
Sir, I was asking that anyway the ransomware and AnyDesk are linked because Anywhere is a remote sharing application.
Yes, there is a possibility that there is a AnyDesk is for remote administration, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello. Yes.
Yes.
So if you are downloading this remote administration tools from if you are not downloading from the genuine websites, there is a possibility that these softwares are infected, are already tampered or infected with the remote access trojans, and when you are installing them, basically the attacker is getting the remote access of your computers. Got it? There is a possibility.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, so let us talk about the ransomware as a service model. As I said, one of the point why the ransomware is proliferating, why it is keep why these attacks are keep on increasing in number. So one of the reason is a RAS business model. These cyber criminals, they created their own business model that is called as RAS, ransomware as a service. So as I said that earlier, when the ransomware attack happens, the hacker or the cyber criminal has to develop its own ransomware, or he has to take the code from someone and he has to change it. Then he has to find the victim. He has to launch the ransomware attack and he has to maintain everything. Means one person has to do everything. Means the in non-RAS model, developer developing the ransomware, developer implementing the attack, and developer is concluding the attack. Everything will be done by one person. But in a ransomware as a service model, what happens? Basically, it's a business model. So there are multiple parties are involved. So there are operators are there and there are affiliates are there. What operators are there are doing? They are developing the ransomware. They are developing the ransomware kits. They are recruiting the affiliates. Then they are maintaining the websites. Some cloned websites or deceptive websites. They are maintaining. Okay, like that. And then there are affiliates are there. Affiliates are not technical people. They are totally unaware of how to develop the ransomware. So these affiliates will find out the potential victims. They will collude with the operators. They will take the ransomware built by the operators and they will use their infrastructure to launch the attack against the victims. So affiliate one launch the find out the victim one, victim two, victim n, like that. Affiliate n will perform the same thing, and they will take the help of ransomware developer to launch the attack. So basically, that's why I said nowadays a person even without any technical knowledge is in a position to launch the ransomware attack. Why is it so? Because of the ransomware as a service business model. Okay, so this is what about it. So in ransomware as a service business model, there are operators are there and there are affiliates are there. Operators has to play certain role. They recruit the affiliate. They will create the command and control server. Okay, they will set the payment portal. They will manage the dedicated leak sites. Entire infrastructure is maintained by the operator. Okay, whereas what the affiliates will do, they will find out the suitable victims. Okay, and they will launch the attack by using this operators infrastructure. They will launch the attack, and once the ransom demand is fulfilled, they will share the ransom cut to the operators, something like that. So it's like this. So even operators are getting benefited from the affiliates and affiliates are getting benefited from the operators. That's why it is called as a business model. Okay, so what are the advantages of this business model? That it is a well-distributed chain, allows to gather more capital for malware developers as compared to that of the non-RAS model. So malware developers or ransomware developers are simply concentrating on the development of ransomware and the required infrastructure. They are not looking for the victims, whereas the affiliates are looking for the victims and they are using the operators infrastructure and operators ransomware to stage the attack. So one person is providing the infrastructure, whereas the another party is looking for victim and doing the attack, and both are getting benefited. That's why it is the advantage of RAS model over a non-RAS model. So this is a revenue model. So it happens between the operators and affiliates. So operator, as an operator, we use the ransomware, our infrastructure. He can go for the monthly subscription. So he said that, okay, I will subscribe to your ransomware and your infrastructure for monthly basis, and whatever I will earn, I will give to you. Okay, some portion. There will be affiliate programs. There will be a profit sharing. 20-30% of each ransomware attack can be shared. One time license attack, the affiliate will purchase the infrastructure or lease the infrastructure and use the ransomware development kits, and the affiliate will pay the huge sum of money to the operator and like that, and then pure profit sharing. So these are the some of the revenue models which works between affiliates and operators in the RAS model. Okay, now next comes the Bitcoin. Basically the payment happens in ransomware attack through the Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is a sort of, I can say, the dirty currency here, which plays the dirty role, because nobody can track the Bitcoin. It's a sort of distributed currency. Okay, so that's why the attackers are ransomware developers are preferring the Bitcoin as a favorite mode of asking for the ransom demand. Okay, and basically this Bitcoin is based on the blockchain technology. So okay, I'm not going to into the much detail of this. Okay, So you know about the blockchain consensus mechanism. Okay, it's a kind of distributed ledger. Okay. Okay, so there are different blocks are there. Okay, so the hash will be generated. The block two will be generated from the data and the hash of block previous block, and the process will be repeated. Okay. Okay, so just see the what are the properties of blockchain? Basically, immutability, anonymity, programmable, and security. For our day-to-day applications, blockchain is a very good, but blockchain plays a dirty role in ransomware attack. Okay, so basically the feature, the property of blockchain anonymity, it is heavily being used by the attacker, because anonymity means nobody knows. Basically, when the ransom demand is fulfilled, when the ransom payment is made in terms of Bitcoin, who was behind that account, nobody knows that. Means nobody knows that who was the ransomware attacker. So this property, the anonymity property of blockchain, because of this property, the blockchain, this Bitcoin is preferred as a favorite payment mode in the ransomware attack. Okay, so as I said, why the attackers are preferring the block this Bitcoin, because of the anonymity factor, and you know that the internet what we are using, that is called as some sort of shallow net, but there is another internet called as dark net, which is heavily used by the cyber criminals. So almost everything from the drugs, weapons, counterfeit items, hacking tools, stolen data, credential hacking services, money laundering activities, all those things happens within a darknet. And the favorite mode of transaction is a kind of Bitcoin transactions. Okay, so basically this Bitcoin is a kind of basis for the darknet. Okay, so how the Bitcoins are the cause of concern? So as I said, the anonymity factor of Bitcoin provides the purpose to ransomware, because you cannot demand the ransom payment in terms of money, day to day, dollar or rupees. You cannot ask for, because the law enforcement agencies will trace you back. So that's why this anonymity factor of Bitcoin is used for for ransom demand. Then forensic agencies, if they want to trace you out, they cannot trace you because you are using the block this Bitcoin. And the cyber attribution is very difficult. You cannot attribute this ransomware attack to a particular party, because of the anonymity of blockchain or the Bitcoin. Okay. So what are the solutions available for the ransomware attack? There are different types of solutions are there. So the first type of solution is called as a backup. Okay. So have a very good backup. Okay. And this backup must be a malware, ransomware resistant, because whenever the ransomware attack happens, it looks for the backup. It disables the backup first, or it encrypts the backups also. So you should have the offline backup. It should not be online. It should be offline, some sort of backup, so that in case of ransomware attack, you can restore your systems as early as possible. But the backup will not provide you defense against the single extortion, double extortion, triple extortion, and quadruple. It will provide the defense against only single extortion. Then you can use the self encryption. Always keep your data in an encrypted format. So whatever data is there inside your computer, you can encrypt that. So what will happen? This even though attacker will re-encrypt your data, but they cannot misuse it, because to misuse this data or to release in a public forum, they have to decrypt it. So this self encryption will provide the defense against the double extortion. Okay, double, and I can say the triple extortion also. And the third one is called as prevention by detection. Have security softwares, antivirus program, anti-malware program, intrusion detection system, have firewall, have next generation firewalls. So different types of solutions you can have to detect the ransomware proactive. Okay. So these are the different types of solutions are there. Okay. So as I said, retrieving by backup, protection by self encryption, and prevention by detection. So they are having certain advantages and disadvantages. Now, so the last point about this ransomware is, so just see, earlier ransomware developers were asking for ransom demand in terms of Bitcoins, but nowadays there is a new type of ransomware came, goodwill ransomware. The name is goodwill. So what they are asking that they will target a particular company, they will encrypt the data, and in demand they will say that okay, donate beds to the hospital, donate medicine to this hospital, or fund these NGOs, okay, or feed the poor children's, like that. So what they are saying that they are not asking for the ransom payment in terms of Bitcoins or cryptocurrency. They are asking for something else. They will say that okay, go to this particular society or this particular area and distribute the cloths, food to the poor children, poor people, something like that, or old age people, something like that. So it is happening. Okay, so it happened in the year 2002. So basically what this goodwill ransomware says that people are taking, basically it's some sort of charity. Okay, helping the hospitals, helping the poor people and children. That's a good thing, but the way they are asking to do it, what they are saying that they are targeting a particular company, and then they are encrypting their data, and they are saying that now you do this charity, you take the pictures, post it on social media, upon verification we will give you the decryption key back. So the point is like this, it looks like a good thing, just like you might have seen in the movies. Maybe the hero will do all these things, he will loot from the you know uh, I can say that rich people, and then he will donate to the poor people, but that's not a correct way. So that's what I'm saying, that it is a new way, new trend is coming. So means to fight the social problems, people are, attackers are taking the wrong way. Okay, so actually the purpose is good. Okay, the act is good, means donation is good, doing the charity is good, but forcing someone to do the charity by doing the ransomware attack is not good. Okay, so in this way the things are changing. Okay, so the behavioral analysis of goodwill, if you do, if you see that it's just like a 0 out of hero factor, something like that, you can say that this basically cyber criminal is want to act as a hero. Basically he's doing the wrong thing, but at the end he want to become a hero for the poor people, something, because he may get the blessings from the poor people, like that. Or shadow of fast factor, maybe the cyber criminal who is doing this ransomware attack, he may be born in a born poor, and he just want to create awareness among the people about the poverty, and among the governments, among the people, like that. So something like that. So this if you see the behavioral analysis of this goodwill ransomware, then it's totally different. Okay, but the way they are doing, they are taking a wrong way to do the good things, is not correct way. Okay, so one more thing, nowadays we are using the IoT devices everywhere. We are talking about the smart home, we are talking about the smart cities, smart offices. So IoT, even smart devices, okay, smart automobiles. Okay, so everything is getting smart. So of course, these IoT devices have enough processing power, and the battery power, even the bandwidth to and the memory, of course. Uh, so the ransomware attack is very feasible here also. So earlier, we are seeing that ransomware attack used to happen on big industries or big corporate companies, okay, or the government agencies. But as these IoT devices are part of even common person, being a part of smart home, smart city, so I can say that these ransomware attacks are next, they will happen on at the personal level also. So if you are having the smart devices at your home, somebody will lock all those devices, smart devices, and they will ask for the ransom payment, something like that. Okay, so this is called R4 IoT, means ransomware for IoT devices. This is new. Okay, and that's why it's written as a future unplanned. And as the last slide for today, this session, so people are started using the ransomware as a weapon to solve the social problems. There are a lot of problems are there, society related problems are there, just like poverty, climate change, so many other problems are there, pollution, so many problems are there. So maybe these activists or cyber criminals are taking taking help of ransomware, and they are performing the attack, and they are forcing the agencies or the governments to deal with these social problems. So this is the way the ransomware is changing. So it's all started with the ads trojan, and then now it is going as a ransomware as a weapon to solve the social problems. Okay, so this ransomware can be used by even good people to stage the ransomware attack against to solve the social problems. So these activists can collude with hackers to protest against government policies. These uh, attackers can collude with the cyber insured company, okay, with hackers to take advantage of flaws in the cyber insurance model. Are the maybe the terrorist organizations may stage the ransomware attack against the nation or maybe the companies or maybe the government agencies to fulfill their nefarious or illicit demands. Okay, so this is what. Okay, the last slide is all about the research directions. Okay, so I don't know whether you require this or not. So these are some of the research directions I have listed here. Okay, so use of AI ML based detection for prevention, behavioral analysis, okay, and backup and recovery enhancement, malware analysis and signature detection generation, okay, using YARA rules or reverse engineering of ransomware binaries, use of cyber deception, honeypots to generate the threat intelligence, use of this deep packet inspection. So these are some of the research directions I have listed here. Okay. So this is all about the ransomware. So now I'm open for the questions. So if there are any question, I can answer those questions.
Thank you, sir. Many students asking for the PPT, but I think we can share this recordings to the students later.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I
Yes,
don't
we
think
can share.
PPT is required. And the research direction, definitely after the summer school, I plan for a 1 month this free internship for the students. The students those who wants to do some projects, definitely if they're interested, they can enroll and
Sure, sure.
for that one. Yes, Bala, if you have any question, you can ask. Yes.
Yes, sir, I have question. My
Yeah.
questions from the angle of a cybersecurity
Sorry.
expert. Yeah, what I'm saying is that if someone's system has been attacked with a ransomware and he took it to a cybersecurity expert, is there anything that can be able to solve the problems without being paying the ransom, or it must be paid for?
Just see, yeah, that is very tricky question to answer, I can say. So you are saying that once the system is infected with a ransomware, right? And once the ransom note is displayed, question is whether I need to pay the ransom or I not to pay the ransom, right? Right?
My question is that can I be able to recover it without paying the ransom? If, for instance, I'm a cyber expert, yeah, that's the question.
That depends. That depends. Just see. You are saying that can I recover system without paying the ransom, right?
Yeah, is there any techniques or method that can be able to recover it
No, no, no. There
without?
is no technique. There is no technique. There is no technique. That's why I'm saying that the ransomware, you don't know what type of ransomware it is, and you don't have a lot of time to do that. To mount the pressure on you, it's a race against time. To mount a pressure on you, what they will do, they will design a ransomware in such a way that they will start deleting your files. Means the more you delay in paying fulfilling the ransom demand, they will do the more damage. They are start deleting your files. So first 1 hour they will delete the 10% of data. Next another hour they will they will delete 30% of the data, and next another hour they will delete remaining 50% of the data. Now it's a race against time. So question is, uh, if you are having a solid backup, really you are pretty sure about you are having the backup data, uh, you defer to pay the fulfill the ransom demand. Okay, you don't fulfill the ransom demand, because even though you will fulfill the ransom demand, there is no guarantee that you will be getting back the decryption keys and you will be recovering the data. Got it? So there is no assurance. So you have to act, you have to decide, you have to see what are your company policies are there. Okay, so because nowadays the governments are framing the policies, because even though the government agencies or companies are fulfilling the ransom demand, they are not getting back their data, they are not getting the decryption key, and they are not getting back their data, because one copy of data already is with the attacker. So even though they will say that they will delete the local copy of data with them, what is the assurance? So point is, it is a very delicate situation. If you are a victim of ransomware attack, see your options. If you are having a very good backup, you are pretty sure that okay, but definitely there will be a recovery time will be there. There will be service outage will be there. If your services are very very critical, you have to offer the services to the user as early as possible. Use your backup, recover your system. uh, okay, so start offering the services from the backup server somewhere. Okay, something like that, or from the backup infrastructure. If your services are not so critical, if you can tolerate the service downtime, that time you see the options, and again how much ransom demand is fulfilled, what is the value of your data, and what is the ransom demand they are asking. That again has to be that has to be compared. And means some, and the last point is that even though you will pay the ransom demand, there is no guarantee of getting back the decryption key. So I can say that this is very delicate situation, and there is still no well-known solution or framework is there which will guide you how what to do in such situation. I hope I have answered your question. I don't have the exact answer for your question.
Yeah, that was answered. It makes sense, sir.
Fine.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I was asking that from the online sources, I heard that somebody brought the ransomware domain because it was forwarding to the domain. But if other virus, similar type of ransomware virus were supposed to be exist, if we buy the domain, then will the problem get solved? Or there are other methodologies for solving the
But,
problem?
but question is how many domains you will buy. Question is just see there is a DGA, domain generating algorithm is there. Why there? It's just like a moving target defense. So they knows that if the command and control server is having the static IP, your filtering tools or your security tools, you can create a signature and you can block the outgoing traffic. That's why DGA is introduced by the cyber criminals, and they are frequently changing the domain. Question is how you can buy the domain, because attacker is registering that domain and they are putting that entries in a DNS server, and very frequently they are doing that. Maybe I don't know what is the periodicity of changing the domain. So question is there is not much time for you to buy the domain, and question is how many domains you will buy. Other way you are keep on buying the domains, so you are wasting your money, because the domain what you buy that will not be used next time by the ransomware.
Okay, sir, got it.
Okay.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
So my question is that what is the difference between spyware and malware?
Spyware and malware, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, the spyware is just like us for spying, it spies on you. So suppose I am the researcher, I'm working. So someone who is interested in my work, maybe the nation state. So imagine there is a cutting edge research is happening, maybe in a defense company, and somebody want to know some some enemy country wants to know what kind of, so what they will do, they will plant some sort of spyware on you on your mobile phone. So it will keep on looking for your activities. Okay, it will spy the things where you are going to, who which people you are meeting, what are the coordinates. Okay, what means it will watch your activities very care. It will not affect your file. They will not delete your files, they will not touch your files. They will simply watch out your activities. In worst case they may exfiltrate some data, but they won't do any encryption or deletion sort of thing. Okay, so it will be hidden under the radar. Okay, it will do certain activities without your knowledge. It will just spying on you. Whereas when we say malware, because spyware is also some sort of malware, but when you say the malware, some other advanced persistent threats or uh, ransomware or maybe uh, other things are there. Okay, so there is no clear boundary. It depends on for what purpose you have designed the malware. Is it for spying, or is it for uh, encrypting the data, deleting the data, or disabling the software or services, or something like that? It depends on the purpose. Okay, so we cannot say that clearly. We cannot say based on the studying that particular ransomware malware strain, you will identify what it is doing basically. And by doing the static analysis or by doing the dynamic analysis of that particular code, by running that software, you will get to know like that. So it depends on purely on the intention, for what intention it is designed, for which purpose it is designed. Hello.
Namaskar. Ghanshyam again we'll meet at 12 o'clock.
Yes, sir. We'll start at 12.
Yes, yes. Okay, sir.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you.